Gabriel isn't just this peace symbol for all that's good in the world. Like,
he is such a sweet person, but he's also a person. With all the sunshine also comes rainy days.
And we're just showing another human being who's just experiencing life in a slightly different way.
What is something that Gabe does now that felt impossible a couple of years ago? What is something that Gabe does now that felt impossible a couple of years ago?
One of the biggest things, I guess, would be at night when you guys are not here. He actually stays downstairs by himself. We go to bed. Dad or I will put a TV, usually Friends, on for him. But on average, he will get his yogurt, he'll get his juice, a spoon, he'll get his blanket, and he sets himself up. But we've gone upstairs, and he stays downstairs on the couch, and he'll do his nighttime whatever, and he'll have his stuff, and he waits for his 5 minutes with you or Kier, whichever one of you come home first. That I would never have expected. When we go to bed and we're fast asleep, and he's downstairs.
He took the keys. He drove the car.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
He threw a rager when you were out of town.
I knew it.
Ordered a pizza.
So I never would have thought about that like 5 years ago. That never would have entered my head.
There is something I would like to add to this before we move on.
Yeah.
Let's go back to this 5 minutes. I go upstairs maybe around 10 o'clock, and I'm not up until 4 a.m. So all these things that are transpiring while I am sacked out in that block of hours is interesting to me because
you're not a part of it?
You're not a part of it.
I can't be a part of it because I'm unconscious.
But you know what? I'm also asleep, but who's the one that comes down and wakes everybody up? Me.
Yeah.
You stay asleep.
Yes.
He's sometimes asleep, but I gotta wake up everybody and bring them all up.
I was ugly.
Exactly.
Yes, Josh.
What? Are you expressing anger? Are you expressing frustration? I'm not going to get a Christmas present this year?
Yeah. Ho, 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 ho.
You ho ho.
Ho, ho.
Anyway, this conversation went nowhere, so.
That was a really good point to
Actually,
bring up.
that was really good.
I'm gonna try and think of how to phrase this, but I think like one of the greatest strengths of like our channel is like showcasing like the light that Gabriel is and like all the positivity and love. It's also important to note that like Gabriel isn't just this peace symbol for all that's good in the world. Like
he's a human being.
He's a human being, and I think like showing there are a lot of challenges and how he goes through the world can be really scary and tough. Making sure that we highlight that like these routines like are so important because that's how he makes sense of things. And when that gets kind of toppled over or there's a transition and he can't conceptualize the reasoning behind anything, like he doesn't know why people aren't coming to something, he just knows they're not there.
Right.
For us, it's so sad to see him just not be able to understand it.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't get it. He's just like, he'll keep asking, I think, in a way of hoping that our answer changes.
I mean, this is his structure.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think that's a real important point because there's a beauty to the simplicity of how he sees things in that he's not like mired in all the complexity of the abstractness, the concepts, the reasons and all that kind of stuff. Beyond that, here's a holiday. So and so and so and so needs to be there, is supposed to be there. So and so and so and so is supposed to happen. I'm supposed to wear so and so, clothing and whatever. And you look at it and okay, it's regimented, it's routine and what have you. He's also able to, dive into the spirit of those occasions a lot faster and easier.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know everything that's going around in the background to get everything prepared for the holiday and all that sort of stuff. So it's an important part, but it's interesting because that's how he operates.
Yeah. But I just think showing that like there's just as there's so many colors and layers to like me as a person and you as a person, same thing goes for Gabriel. Some of the comments that like we'll read and stuff like overall like very like sweet and positive. I've seen a couple where some people might be a little like shocked if Gabriel's being a little sassy or responding in more of like a negative way or being stubborn and whatever. I think it's important to note that like that's a part of human nature. Gabriel is like such a sweet person, but he
Yeah.
also can be
He's
very
also
sassy
but, right.
and
But you just
and
were
rebellious.
saying it. He is
Yeah.
such a sweet person, but he's also a person. With Safier Universe, with what we do on this channel, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, and on what I show on my Instagram. Overwhelmingly, the goal is to be as authentic as possible, and that means, you know, we've received comments over the years of, you know, and the power of this, that so many people watching, so many of you, you know, feel like you're a part of the family, and you know, we may have never met before. We may be on opposite sides of the world for all we know, but yet you feel like you know this family, and you feel like if we were to meet in everyday life, that we would that it would be a great bond. To me, that is the power of the way that we do these videos, because it is about showing life as it is,
Right.
as opposed to a picturesque version, because it's so easy. I mean, like, this is important too. It's so easy for that to be the case on social media. Like, in many ways, like, you know, you are the producer of your own content. You are the producer of how you want the world to see you. And you get to make it in that way. That being said, it is important to me. It is a responsibility in a lot of ways, in that we are showing life in that, you know, it is a very, very positive family, and it is a very bright and hopeful and optimistic family, but it's also a real family. And also with Gabe, with all the sunshine, also comes rainy days. You know, stormy days, and that is that's the nature of everything we do on these channels. That, like, so that's I couldn't agree.
That's
more.
why I just wanted to say that. It's just like, that's just being a human being, and
Right.
we're just showing another human being who's just experiencing life in a slightly different way.
Besides, he's your twin, so sass is automatic.
All right, all right.
In between the sass king and
And the
queen.
other, yeah, and I think the last thing I'll say is also the other end of this is also that, you know, this is a space where everybody, you know, can share their stories, you know, their achievements, their successes, their challenges, their frustrations, their angers, and everything. And we're not going to give justice to what this is all about, you know, unless people share their stories and their experiences. You know, is there stuff to hide? You know, behind the scenes here, you know, do I yell at Gabriel? You know, when I've asked him 7 times, yeah. You know, not going to put that on the on the video necessarily. Maybe we could, you know, but you know, families argue. You know,
We
that's
lose
the
patience,
authenticity.
do we get
Absolutely.
annoyed? Everybody
Absolutely.
does, but it's more infrequent than it is frequent.
One of the questions is really, do Gabe and his brother and sister fight?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, we're siblings.
Oh man, like, I'll bring up, actually, that's a great, I can say on
You know
that.
what I mean?
You know, I remember one of the first moments where I realized that, and this was in 2020, that, you know, I couldn't wrestle physically with Gabe in the way that I could when he was younger, because, you know, he, like, his hormones were way stronger, and he's strong. Bro, he is strong.
Ripped,
you know,
bro.
and I built this body. But anyway, the
DNA.
no, but, like, you know, we were wrestling at one point, and he just got really, really into it and so aggravated. Also, I wasn't sure if maybe I grabbed him a little hard at one point. It was, I don't know, but he got very annoyed, and then he, like, grabbed at my clothes, and he ended up ripping one of my shirts. You know, it wasn't like, you know, it was like, it was completely
It was harmless,
It was
but he doesn't-
harmless,
yeah.
yeah. But it was one of those things where I was like, you know, like, but my point in bringing that up is, like, you know, and then we were both mad at each other for a little bit after that, and I don't get mad at Gabe very easily at all. And granted, I also had an action, you know, that was a part of that. But that's a perfect, we're brothers fight. Another perfect example, when we did the hike, we went to the Grand Canyon. We weren't in the Grand Canyon. It was another one of the, I think it was Zion National Park.
Yeah.
And it was 105 degrees.
Yes, we learned something valuable also by doing that trip as a family. Gabe and hiking or any heat is no. We're never doing something like that again.
He's
Gabe
okay
is
with walking on trails.
I don't care. We're not
Yeah.
risking it. We're, no, we get a hotel or a cruise ship. That's what you get for Gabe, all right? But
Luxury.
Gabe is a luxury king, and so am I, and I'm very happy about it. But anyway, we were in this park, and, you know, Gabe was so overheated, and, you know, I was trying to, like, he was, like, standing in a way where I was getting nervous where how close he was to the edge, and so I tried moving him over, and he just did not want to be touched. But when he did that, he started, you know, reacting
really,
aggressively,
yeah.
and I
Screamed
tried.
out.
Yeah, he screamed.
People are like looking at us. What's going
Yeah,
on?
like, what's happening right now?
And we didn't really know what was happening also, to be honest. Like, it was one
He's
of the
never
first,
done that
He doesn't
before.
really,
He's
he's
never
never
done
reacted
that.
like that. No, literally.
Well, that was the other thing, the elevation, the heat, and we learned something very valuable at that point, and how to react to certain things and calming him down.
You didn't know. It's okay. It's okay.
But that's it. He doesn't know, and this is the sad part. He doesn't know
The risk.
The
or the
risk
danger.
in how he reacts to certain things, or necessarily if he gets angry. And that's one of the things that we have to learn how to address certain things, so that this way his reaction becomes more appropriate. It's okay to be angry.
Well, we didn't talk to like on that day. After that, I kept my distance from him for about maybe an hour and a half or so after that, because he and he was just staying with Dad and you.
were getting close to him, and he was getting angry.
He was getting very angry. Anytime I stepped remotely close, he was getting really pissed off. And then there's a photo, I actually posted this last summer. There's a photo of him and I. At one point we were by a waterfall after that, and I'm just sitting down on a rock, and I'm in a bad mood too. I was so angry at the way he reacted. I was embarrassed. I mean, I was in a bad mood.
I'm very hot. Everybody was overheated, which was a big part.
Right, but I that was like the lesser of the things. I was annoyed with Gabe in that moment. Sometimes he will verbally say he's sorry. Other times it's stuff like this. He came over and he took off, his shirt was off because they were cooling him off with the waterfall water. He sat down next to me and he maneuvered me so that I would be sitting like this on the rock. He just leaned up against me and just put his head on my shoulder, then gave his hand and was rubbing my beard, and it was so soft, and he didn't have to say a word. I just knew that was him saying that, and Mom even knew. It was just the definition of Gabe saying he's sorry without saying anything.
Right.
And he wasn't totally in the wrong. No, it wasn't that. It was just the reaction.
Well, it's his way of saying I don't think he didn't.
Touched.
No, or it's he can't.
I was just trying to keep him safe.
He can't verbalize in the same way that we can.
Right.
If he doesn't like something, or if he's upset, or if he's uncomfortable. He has
Yeah,
his emotional intelligence in the way that his emotional intelligence is so strong that for him, lashing out like that in a way where it's he's gonna raise his voice and do this, that's his way of saying I don't want to be touched and I'm not happy with what I'm doing right now. And maybe it's not the most convenient way to do that, but also convenient for us versus convenient for him are two different things.
Right.
He can't say I'm really overheated and I don't want to be touched by you, please give me some space. He can't say that. Yeah. So that's his way of doing it. And it's just, the point is it's not all going to be happy-go-lucky all the time. The point is we're the five of us, we're a family and we work with each other to communicate our needs all in different ways.
Right.
And for Gabriel, specifically because he has a disability, we adapt to what works for him just like he adapts to what works for us.
Right. And very important to say, I think above all else, what he was really trying to articulate that whole time is, guys, next time just take me on an Alaskan cruise.
I don't want
No,
to
I was going to say, I have 2 points. One is, didn't we carry him down piggyback most of the rest of the way?
Yes.
I love that you say we as if it was just
No,
Right, so Nick and I...
It was just you.
No, he didn't want me.
All right, so then I had... You manipulated the situation.
You kept saying you were a bus.
You know how high that was to bring you down on my back?
That's one.
Two, we should have read through it because yes, I agree. His reaction and outburst was not that I'm angry and it's hot and this elevation is horrible and don't ever take me on this vacation again. It was simply I should be poolside with nachos and a pina colada and I'm not there.
That's right. That's what I heard. Why am I not sitting by the beach in Hawaii?
Right.
Looks you know what? So valid.
I'm Gabe, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's really all your fault. This was your idea on a vacation.
That's true. It was my grad present, but
Yeah.
also I
was
kind
fine.
of, I thought
Yeah,
we were going
no,
to be
it
on
was
the
fine.
same page
It was
with that. But I guess one of us has to be the one that likes the outdoors, and the other one doesn't. And that's fine.
You can be outdoors, just flat.
and with proper air.
And carry a fan.
And he doesn't want to have to walk to it.
Yes, he wants to be carried.
Broken I was after. I felt like a donkey.
You are.
Like a pack mule.
You are.
You were.
It was 105 degrees.
Shadow Universe!
I am giving home.
Yes,
I love you, Gabriel. Ho ho,
Ho,
Merry
Miss
Christmas.